welcome to week 3 of Vacation Bible School. This week you learned about Noah's Ark, and we're going to draw our own rain painting where someone is with an umbrella and boots, and you can see them splashing in a puddle and the rain coming down. We're going to do this each step by step. If you got a craft packet, you got a piece of this watercolor paper. If you didn't get a craft packet, any art paper would work, or even just a plain white piece of printer paper. You're going to need your school watercolors, just like you would use every day in school, and crayons, any colors that you want. But you want to be sure to have a white crayon. If you didn't have a white crayon, you'd want to get a very, very light colored crayon, like a really light blue, or even like a white creamish color would work. You just want it to be super light. All right, so the first thing we're going to draw in this picture is our umbrella. To start with, you're just going to draw an X. And I like to use a pencil with this because it will help me figure it out. And if I make a mistake, I of course can erase it. So I drew my X. Now I'm going to draw 2 lines. And now we want to connect these to make the umbrella. And sometimes you have to extend it a little bit. So it's going to kind of look like a circle. And as you see, this is kind of a guide, but some of the edges I might have to extend or shorten up. So you want it to look circle-ish. And then if you make a mistake, you just erase it. And you keep going until you're happy. All right, the next thing we're going to draw is our coat. And that is essentially just almost a triangle. I'll draw 2 lines out. The line on the bottom. Super easy. We're going to draw our legs. Now we're going to draw boots. I'm going to draw this boot first. This boot is just like you would draw a foot. Then this boot is even easier because it's right behind it. There we go. Right now it's time to start coloring. In this one, I colored each panel of my umbrella a different pattern. And this time, I'm just going to do a simple color for each panel. As you can see, I've colored in my umbrella. And as a note, remember to color the edges of each of the pieces with your crayon and make sure you fill in the edges really well. This is going to help keep the watercolor from bleeding into your different pieces. So I've colored the umbrella. I want you to do the raincoat next, the legs, and the boots. You again can use any colors you want, but because the background is going to be so blue, you might want to pick a color other than blue. But if blue's your favorite and you want to use blue, go for it. All right, so I finished coloring in my umbrella, my coat, my legs, and my boots. Our next step here, I'm going to show you on here so you can see a little bit better. You're going to take your white crayon and see how I drew a puddle around the legs. And you can see here also where I drew little lines for the rain. And that will make it look like it's actually raining. And the color of the watercolors doesn't stick to the crayons. So you can use as much rain and puddles as you want. And a puddle is just kind of a wobbly circle around your legs. All right, so I drew my puddle and my rain. You can't see it because I used the white crayon, but you'll start to see it almost like magic as I start painting. And I am taking my blue, and I want the blue to be very liquidy. And I'm just gonna kind of start, you can start seeing how it's not sticking to the places where I added my crayons. So I'm going to do some blue. I like to add a little purple because I think it looks neat to kind of have those different colors. And some of it's going to be really watered down and some of it's going to be darker because I will have added less water to my paint. And you still want to be careful around the edges of your different things, like your umbrella and your coat and stuff, but the crayon will help keep it from running into your drawing. Alright, so I have a basic picture done. Now what I'm going to do, like I did here in the first one I did, I'm going to make the ground just a little bit darker. You wouldn't have to do it. It looks pretty cool just the way it is. But for me, I wanted to be able to designate the ground. And the way I did that was just taking a little bit of black, and I mixed black in with some of my other colors. And the nice thing about watercolors is that it blends so nicely, and if you don't like what you've done, you can easily erase it by just adding some more water and kind of smooshing around the colors. But I wanted the ground to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to just add a little more color to the ground. And you want it to kind of be all different colors. A watercolor is nice because the details are kind of blurred, and then that means you don't have to make it perfect. You just make it the way you want it to be. And then as it dries, you may notice some spots where I need to add a little more color here. And if you add color onto a spot you've already done, it'll make it a little bit darker. And I like the fact that there's some darker spots and some lighter spots. And if you wanted to add a little bit of other color, like you want to add a little bit of red, the red will bleed into almost like a purple just because you've had so much blue in there. Alright, well I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. Happy crafting.